As you would have known from watching my video on German Wortstellung, German word order, I have a structure, a set structure for the word order, which is SVTMP. And then you have V2 at the end in parentheses. Again, this video is just a kind of a theory-based understanding, either prior to watching the video or for some revision. So S stands for subject, so in a sentence that would be wir. It's also to note that wir in this case would also be the nominative case, because wir, that's the subject of the sentence, is what's been done. Wie is the verb, and in this example would be haben. It's worth noting that the verb is always in the second position. Now, the second position sometimes confuses students because they think it's the second piece of a sentence. It's not. It's the second idea. So it isn't necessarily the second word, it is the second idea. It's also worth noting that from one of my other videos, haben is a verb that takes the accusative case. So we automatically know from using haben, we know what case we're using. T is time. So for example, 17 Uhr. Okay? What's important here is that when you're referring to time, you always use the word 1 Uhr, 2 Uhr, 3 Uhr, halb 10, viertel vor 8. So again, in another video I've stated that you use im when talking about days of the month. So im December, im Januar, im Februar, im März. I've also stated that you use the word am when you're talking about days of the week. So am Montag, am Dienstag, am Mittwoch, am Donnerstag. I also stated that when you're referring to your birthday, you also use am. So ich habe am 31. Januar Geburtstag. Next one is M, which is the manner. So in this sentence it would be ein Fußballspiel. So wir haben 17 Uhr ein Fußballspiel. Next one is place, which would be in Limerick. In Limerick. Okay? So when you're in a location, like in English, you use in. When you have a sentence in German, you have to have T and P in that order. You can't have the P before the T. You can't have the M before the T. All sentences in German do not need to have the T and P. However, if you do have any of those components, they must follow in that order. Before I go on to V2, I will explain the mechanism again for relocating the TMP to the first part of a sentence. So for example, if I want to put the T before V at the start of a sentence, if you look at the very bottom of the poster, you'll have the letters breaking down. So the T jumps to the start of the sentence. V always is the second idea. And the way I explain it to kind of like younger students, I'm saying that like, okay, TMP bully S. So S runs scared and hides behind V. So you have T, V, S, and P. So in the sentence you have 17 Uhr haben, wir goes running, goes behind haben, 17 Uhr haben wir ein Fußballspiel in Limerick. Okay, so it's the very same thing. So again, we focus just on the P. P, V, that's an S, that's a 2 there, but that should be S, that is my error. TP. So you'd have in Limerick, haben, okay, they're all bullying, wir, so wir goes inside haben wir 17 Uhr ein Fußballspiel. Okay? So, finally, it's worth noting that when you use und, oder, aber, and, or, but, starts a new sentence. So you have SVTMP und SVTMP. So, wir haben 17 Uhr ein Fußballspiel in Limerick und wir essen Schokolade. Und wir treffen uns und wir gehen ins Kino.